Well, hey folks, listen, the expo was awesome, but the problem is I came home with a flu bug and I feel like death warmed over. And I was going to do this big, long, drawn out recap of stuff, and I'm just hanging on. So, just right at the beginning, as we get started, this is hopefully not going to be that long because I don't have a lot of energy, but we're going to talk about the expo. It was wonderful, and you should definitely try to get to Texas if you can at the end of next month. But anyway, let's jump into what happened at the expo right after the intro. Okay, so starting out, my big plans, these are all the discs that I've got to work through. As far as the funny thing is that Gateway sent me a batch of discs, and a lot of these are Gateway. Yeah. So this whole crew of Gateway, Dave McCormick sent me, and they arrived the day after I left for Boston. But so I've got a whole bunch of Gateway stuff that I'm going to look at, especially lightweight discs, and talk about how they can affect your game, especially for older players or even younger players, how lightweight discs may be helpful. But yeah, so I got a stack of these, got plans for those, but my body's not helping me right now. Okay, so then I've got this other stack that I'll talk about along the way. But so I got up there, and I went up there intentionally to go play 2 days of disc golf. And so on Thursday, everything started on Saturday. So Thursday, I got up early and drove in. Snow wasn't falling, but snow got up to Maple Hill. And hopefully you've seen that video of me playing in the snow in Maple Hill. Now, a couple things is I should have gotten some ribbon. And I didn't know about you're not supposed to get on the tee pads if there's snow on there. I'm sorry. I got some comments about that. I had no idea. Obviously, I don't play in snow, so I guess is that a written rule, an unwritten rule? Y'all let me know in the comments. But I wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything like that. I was just trying to, and I told somebody, I was just tunnel vision of trying to play and compare the last 2 times I'd played the Golds to this one. But anyway, I should have just played. The smart thing was go play from the swept off tee pads. It would have been a lot smarter. It would have been easier on my body. But then I went from there to Meadowbrook Orchard, and I'm going to have that footage coming out. And had lunch and had a great guy that talked to me when I came in, said, "Hey, are you Pete?" And it was just a great lunch. And then Dave Chandler, God, I'm so bad with names, so I apologize. That is actually right. I think it is Dave. I just call him Dave or Jerk or whatever. He came and joined us for lunch, and he decided to go play around with me. And Dave is just a joy, and he loves that course, and he loves disc golf, and he loves being part of this community. And so definitely need to add that to the list. Maple Hill and Meadowbrook. There's so many great courses. And so we went out and played. The problem was going to load up out of the car to go to the airport. I tweaked my back when I pulled my baggage off. And I thought I was going to be able to play through, and you could even see some of my form. I was kind of trying to play around it a little bit. But I was planning to do Maple Hill, then Meadowbrook Orchard, and then the next day I was going to hit Pyramids and then Simon's new course, mile marker 61, I think it is. But when I woke up the next morning, my back was just wrecked. And so I ended up spending the day taking several baths, trying to loosen things up, and just hanging around the Expo Hotel. And people were starting to trickle in, so I got to talk to some people, but I also just kind of took it easy that day. It was killing me that I couldn't go play disc golf, but it was probably better that I didn't because my body would have been wrecked if I had. But so people started coming in, and I got to have a funny interaction with Jesse from Trash Panda at the Ice Maker, but that's a whole other story that it's not even worth getting into. But so, yeah, there were things going on. And so then Ben Kinney, who put this whole thing on, he hollered at me later on and said, "Hey, we're going to be packing up some of the bags that we're going to give away to everybody who comes in. Do you want to join up?" And so I walked in there, and Jesse from Trash Panda and some others were in there. And then eventually Gannon came in and showed up, and we're all just kind of sitting in there. We're watching the Beast games, because Ben was on the Beast games early on, so they were all wrapped up into that, and I hadn't watched any of it, so I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on. But that started kind of the thing as I'm sitting there hanging out with all these guys, and that's kind of what the whole expo was about. You turn the corner, and there's Gannon. You turn the corner, there's Simon, there's Paul, there's AB, but then also people like Six Sided Disc, Greg Greg from Six Sided Discs. You've got Gatekeeper Media. You've got Staggered Stance. You've got Happy with Par. You've got all these folks that you've seen, and you're just Disc Golf World. By the way, he kicked our butts at mini disc golf the last round. Good job on you, Jefferson. But yeah, it was just fun. You're just hanging out. So the next day after playing, oh, I forgot, because I'd played with Dave Chandler. Dave McCormick is Gateway, Pete. Come on, get it straight. Dave Chandler at Meadowbrook. He was setting up the course, bringing in the gear for the mini golf course that Simon was going to set up. So I ended up helping him move stuff around, and Simon came in, and we set up the course, which is always fun. That's kind of the centerpiece whenever you're not doing stuff with the Expo. You're over there playing mini disc golf right in the middle of the hotel, and it's really a lot of fun. So I was able to help set that up, and then people just kept coming in. And from that moment on, you're just kind of hanging out. You're talking to people. You're going to eat. You're doing all this stuff, and it's just disc golf with people that you don't know that become your quick friends, and it's just a wonderful time to get together. And then the next morning, it was here, and people just lined up in the VIP section to see that whole area, just lined up with folks ready to go. And I mean, the doors opened, and they come flooding in. And it was so funny. It wasn't even 5 minutes in, and a guy is walking up to the end of the line for the Discraft to get Paul and AB to sign up. And he's like, well, so much for the VIP. He was hoping he'd be a little closer to the end of the line, but that was how exciting it was, the amount of people that were coming in there. I think we had record crowds. And so then you had the MVP with Simon, and it was just hopping from that moment on. And so, guys, if you have a chance, you got to come to these expos. Ben Kinney does an amazing job, and every year it gets better and better. More people come. There were folks everywhere. And it was James Proctor, Casey White, Paul Kranz. There was just players and vendors. Gateway, Innova, Discraft. You could get in conversations with Dave McCormick at Gateway. It was just conversation after conversation, and then the seminars were great. I got to be MC for Gannon Burr's question and answer session, and that was kind of neat. It just kind of happened that way, and so, you know, hey, I don't mind talking a little bit, so that was really cool. I was trying not to be a fanboy, but there were great seminars about disc golf course design, the PGA talking about what they're doing, so you could have all these wonderful little interactions and educational stuff, plus all the stuff that you could buy. Listen, they're disc galore. It was just a wonderful time. So anyway, that's just a quick overview, quick recap. I'll try to do more, hopefully, later on. The problem is, the longer I take to do it, the more stuff else I have to do, because besides just the Gateway stuff, I had to pick up a Berg from my buddy at 603 Disc Dies. I picked up one for me that I could see, and then my buddy Mike Lamnack loves his dies. This is the guy that I got to do the Fireberg the first time last year, did the Fireberg, and so I need to give him some love. Shout out 603 Disc Dies. He had his own booth this year, and he's knocking it out. Good stuff there. Love his stuff. But then I was able to get a Canyon from Jesse, so I'm definitely excited to try that out. But then I also was able to snag 2 prototype balances for the Simon line from MVP. So, you know, just playing around with that. I went to the Yikun booth, and I grabbed this one just because it reminds me of a birdie, and I want to have some fun with it. It's an interesting story with Yikun, and it all came, a Chinese company, but they were focused more on ultimate, and they're really trying to do some neat stuff. So anyway, I want to grab one of these just to try it out. Then I also won a signed goat from Des Reading. Yeti and Des were there. They were great to hang out with. There's some good folks, but I won that in a drawing, so not bad. And then finally, I went over and got hooked up with the Ken Climo prototypes, of course, in yellow and white so I could see them. But I'm excited to play with all of these. And so, guys, all that to say is that this expo was amazing. I'm really going to try to make it to the one in Texas in a couple months, even though I just went to that one, because it was such a good experience. And so that's all I got for today, because as soon as I turn this thing off, I'm going to go stick this in the computer, upload it hopefully, and then I'm going to go crash because I really feel bad. But all that to say, encourage you, if you can, get to Texas. It's a great time. I know Robbie C., he just had his son. He wasn't able to go to Boston, and he's going to plan to be at Texas. And other people are saying, oh yeah, I'm going to try to get to Texas. So I think it's going to be a really great time over there, and I'd love to see you there. And that's all I got for today. That's about all I can handle. But I appreciate you sticking along with me. Hopefully I can have better stuff next week when I feel a little bit better. But I appreciate you coming along with me. You know, Snuffles over there just keeps wandering back and forth. He's not excited about me being here. But other than that, thank you so much, and I hope to see you out on the course.